opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barber's Chair Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack this like I'm Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is Monday, March 10th, 2025. Man, I am your host, Scott, here as usual. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Barber Scott. Follow the Barber's Chair at Barber's Chair Co. on all social media platforms. And of course, follow our partners, H&B Media, H&B Media TV on Twitter, and that H&B Media on Instagram, man. And while you're at it, follow the Instagram of the new Instagram for our show page. For I'm Not Gonna Hold You at INGHY show on Instagram, man. Get into and everything we got on the show over there as well. Visit the bcnet.com and subscribe to our Patreon. Patreon.com/ Barbers Chair Network, man. We've got 4 different tiers on there. Each $5 for the 3 individual tiers. Summer session, 7 at the Hallis. I'm Not Gonna Hold You. We got episode 200 of Summer Sessions coming out this week on Wednesday, man. 200 episodes of this ridiculous podcast. Who knows what we're gonna talk about? But the homie Demi will be joining us, so you might want to tune in for that. Or subscribe to the $10 holla. That is the Barber's Chair All Access page. Tier where you get everything on the Barber's Chair Network Patreon. And if you subscribe to that, you get 25% off on your first order at the Barber's Chair Network merchandise shop at the bcnetshop.com. We've got a big drop dropping on Friday for Bears fans. Really, if anybody, if you just, if you want to check it out more specifically for Bears fans, man, I think a lot of people are going to like this drop, man. So look out for info this week on that, man. So we've got a big show for y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat. See a couple people saying tick, tick, tick. We were on CP time, man. I'm a tad under the weather, not on the weather, like on a scale of 1 to 10. How under the weather am I? Probably at a 3 right now, but my energy is very low. But we're still doing the show, so that's why we're on CP time. So we're gonna be sent Brian Paul. Orlando, you just had to start off well. But we've got a lot to talk about today, man. I'm gonna bring in my co-host for the afternoon/evening. We've got the one and only JR Bang. You can follow Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms. And we got the one and only Courtney Collabro. You can follow her 1-800-Collabro on social media as well. How y'all feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
I feel like I feel like I'm not feeling as good as y'all are probably feeling right now, considering all the news from today.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I was burned from last season, so I'm not getting too high. I'm at a medium. I'm at a reasonable level of excitement.
Fair.
After today.
Fair. But hey, but hey, if there is an award for winning the offseason. The Bears have won it like 2 or 3 seasons in a row now.
Repeat.
Yeah,
Repeat.
2 or 3 seasons in a row now.
All season champs. What Jeanty say? Trapper of the year 5 times in a row. What they give you? That's what the Bears are right now, man. So we're gonna get into that in a minute, man. But we're gonna start off with the warm up. It's a new segment where we talk about what's ever going on in the world, man. But how was y'all weekend? What y'all do this weekend?
Honestly, I kept it pretty quiet. I did a little girls' night in on Saturday. Got the girls all together. We did some midnight margaritas. If you've ever seen Practical Magic, then you understand that little thing. Yeah, but it was a nice quiet weekend. Ready to get into it this weekend for the St. Patrick's Day activities. And I know you feel some kind of way about St. Patrick's.
I've got a Larry David rant on that coming very, very soon. Bang, how's your weekend?
Hey man, do you know how niggas is old now? Me and the homies was talking about fasting and stuff sometime next month, and we just realized we're not as wild as we once were, so we're subdued, so feeling good.
So fasting from food or from alcohol?
From both.
Oh, from both. Oh, y'all some strong Negroes. Okay, yeah. I respect anybody out there who's about that fast life. Scott Lewis, am not.
I mean, I'm doing Ramadan right now, but I
respect that.
I'm doing Ramadan light because I'm drinking water because I'm diabetic, so I can't be really, y'all have me doing the show. Scott be having me out here looking all sick and shit and that thing. And Scott, I don't care if you sick or not, you still doing the damn show. Dante and Mikey ain't here, so you got to do it. We need somebody else on the show. So if your ass is shivering or what, you gonna do this goddamn show. Best free agency going on too.
You're a victim to Dante's schedule, unfortunately. But I did a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like research this week for a couple projects. I cannot tell the people yet, but I was working this weekend, but it was a cool weekend. Couple good games this week. Celtics, Lakers was a good game. We'll get into that in hour 2. Yeah, man. So that's what I did. I watched a lot of stuff, and game plan a little bit, man. But gotta get into my rant as I saw Courtney saw in the rundown. She said she didn't understand why I put this on here. I have been a Black people should not celebrate St. Patrick's Day truther for a long time. And I'm talking about like probably since high school. And I just want to be very clear, as somebody who's from Chicago, we have a huge Irish population, and St. Patrick's Day is a huge thing in the city. I understand. I get it. I just think, and this is not me with my kufi on, but I just, I want more enthusiasm for our type of holidays. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be like, oh, we just trying to drink. You can drink on any day of the week. Ain't nothing stopping you from drinking on a Friday, especially not in Chicago. Chicago might be, if not the best, top 3 best drinking city in the United States of America. So that, to me, that's not an excuse to that. Like, and let's just say you go to these parties and you just chilling, you just drinking. That's one thing. But niggas be wearing number green and kiss me, I'm Irish, and what we're doing a lot, okay? As Black men and women, we're doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all niggas ain't doing something for Juneteenth? I understand there's a lot more events for Juneteenth. I don't know how many are in Chicago. I know in LA.
Yeah, keep in mind, Juneteenth is still a very regional holiday since it did just become a major holiday like a couple years ago. I live in Texas. Juneteenth goes the fuck up here. Like it
I was about to say Juneteenth in Los Angeles goes crazy. So
yeah, Juneteenth in Dallas and in Texas, period, goes crazy. Like, highly recommend. Black people, I know y'all love to travel down to Houston and shit anyway, but go to Houston during
Chicago niggas love Houston.
Yes, it goes crazy. Highly recommend. But no, I will be in the streets in green this weekend. I ain't wearing no clovers or shamrocks or shit, but you will catch me with a green beer and green Jello shots, 100%.
Now, granted, this is just one man's opinion. You ain't gotta listen to my opinion. You can say, Scott, you can go to hell. You know what I'm saying? Unofficial. Hey, put that comment on the hey. As a nigga that used to date somebody who went to U of I, unofficial kind of went crazy, my nigga. I just unofficial. I don't feel like I had nothing to do with St. Patrick's Day. Was unofficial used to be nuts, and I didn't even go to U of I.
They called you Dr. Scott Umar. That's crazy.
Dr. Scott, keep your third eye open. Keep your third eye. Officials like niggas would drink all day for like a weekend. Like just and this is like a college when niggas had great staminas. Now I can't drink for 3 hours without me being.
Yeah, you got me for one day a weekend. I can't. My body physically can't do it anymore. And that's exactly. That's such a disappointing reality to reckon with now. Like that's crazy. I went to Arizona State. I could fucking drink several days out of the week, be just fine. Now I'm like, okay, let me like drink a liquid IV and put these ibuprofen on my nightstand. So when I lay down, it's ready for me when I get home because I know I'm going to have a headache.
You understand it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
When we tried to warn you that it was coming, you didn't want to hear us. Like, I have to schedule my drinking at least 3 days ahead of time. Like, and even then I got to rationalize it out. You know what I'm saying? Make sure how much I eat. You know what I'm saying? Drink a lot of water.
Like you gotta have the buffer day. Like some people go out, like I'm sorry, Sunday fun day is crazy to me now at my grown age because I have to get up and go to work the next day. That's crazy.
If you like Sunday, you're unemployed.
The best day of the week to go out, objectively, if you work a traditional Monday through Friday schedule, the best day to go out is Friday night. Because then you got Saturday. Okay, so say if you drink too much and you're hungover, you have Saturday to relax, and then Wednesday or Sunday, you still got your little buffer day. You know, you don't have to go right back into work. Friday night is by far best night of the night, best night of the week to go out.
Yeah, and also the thing with that, like when you get old, you realize the weekend is really just Friday night and Saturday. Because Sunday, even though you're chilling, you still think about what you got to do.
Correct. The scaries do be sneaking up on you.
75% of my day yesterday was spent on thinking what we gonna do for the show today, and because it's free agent day, and we about to get in that in the moment for why this annoyed me today. Very last minute rundown. Yeah, that's just one man's fault. You know what I'm saying? I think niggas do a little bit too much. We ain't got to be included in everything. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's just my personal thing.
To be clear for the audience, you are okay with Cinco de Mayo.
Look, I don't celebrate that either, but I
4th of July.
Okay, 4th of July is different. Here's my theory on 4th of July.
I'm just trying to figure out.
No, that's a good question. That's a good question. This is why 4th of July is different to me. Nigga, we built this country. Okay? Okay. I don't care what them racist whites got to say. We built this country. Okay? So I can celebrate it.
I don't disagree with you. Red, white, and blue, motherfucker. These colors don't run. I feel you.
If there's 3 times I'm patriotic, is in the Olympics, July 4th, and when people not from America talk about us. It's like when somebody make fun of your cousin. Only I can make fun of my cousin.
That's correct. I don't accept slander from non-Americans about America.
Yeah. Like
I'll hear you, but I can't tolerate the bullshit. I refuse.
Like when you niggas in the chat call bang old. No, only I can call bang old, nigga. Y'all niggas can't. Okay.
Thank you. I think I appreciate that.
Like that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel when it comes to America. We can say America's trash, but I better not have one of you beans and toast eating niggas come up out here talking about it's trash. Yeah, look, it rains there 80% of the year. Relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, chill out. And then we go over there, we go beat out in the chat. But yeah, that's just how I feel. As far as Cinco de Mayo, look, I personally don't celebrate it like that. I don't have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least we all in the minority sector. You know what I'm saying? Especially in Los Angeles. That joint. If you try to go anywhere that's not a taco truck in LA for Cinco de Mayo, you need to reserve a table like 2 weeks at a time. Like,
real
it's
question.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Are you going to the Puerto Rican Day Parade with Mikey?
If Mikey invited me and I have protection, maybe. Okay. Probably still not. There's gonna be a lot of Javi Baez jerseys out there. A lot of niggas thinking I'm GD. So, man, you muted. I can't hear you, boss.
Damn, I'm fine. I thought I hit the button. I will go. Hit the button though. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Go ahead. Nikhil's back. Hit him with the button. Whoa, that's a fine.
But I would attend that parade and B Dot kiss my ass. But I would attend that parade. Just letting y'all know.
It depends. It depends, man. But let's go to what's next on here, as I need to talk about Elon Musk, bro. He said, Courtney, exactly. You want me to get pressed? Like I said, it depends on what's going on, how much safety is being brought, how many people are with Mikey to ensure my safety.
I'm just trying to see what cultures we are cool with celebrating. Celebrate.
It's less about the culture and more about the gangs.
Okay.
I have personally been shot at 4 times in my life. Now I know that sounds wild, but
no, I think you said that to us before. I think you had mentioned that. That's how I know you're telling the truth.
And 3 of them 4 times were not black gangs. I'm just gonna put that out there. So they're gonna think anytime you black, you GD. If you drive up the Market Park, nigga, wait at the light on 63rd. And if you black, see how long they ask you, or they throw the forks down. You're gonna find out. But today I woke up this morning, and I don't know about y'all, but daylight savings are still messing me up a lot. Like, I have been woozy. I didn't get no sleep until 4 a.m. this morning. And I woke up, Twitter wasn't working. And I'm like, on a regular day, I would not care. But on NFL free agency day, Elon needs to get it together. We was out here. I had to go back to Blue Sky. We were, and Courtney saw in the chat, we was panicking. We was running to Threads. I was reading
y'all were sending Facebook clips.
Yeah.
We're sending notifications from Facebook and Blue Sky and Threads.
And Threads.
I
don't
even have Threads.
The ESPN app alerts, this is Obama's first term. It was crazy. And Elon need to get it together. I'm thinking they got this man.
And he said it was a cyber attack, likely from another country.
Oh, my country.
Twitter has gone down so many times throughout, the time that we've been on Twitter. And when is it ever been blamed on a cyber attack by another country? What?
Yeah. Everything they gonna
because of where we are at in the world, you get to blame all of that on a foreign country because you're a part of the government.
I'm like, how far away from blaming Ukraine for that?
Blame Canada, and that's a great song called "Blame Canada." That's next.
Blame Canada. Is that a South Park song?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know what tripping. All right. I know what tripping.
Blame Canada.
Oh, one of my favorite things said on Simpsons when they said we should move to Canada. He said, "Why leave America to go to America Junior?" That was one of the funniest things that Homer ever said. Salute to Homer Simpson. But yeah, Elon gotta get it together, man. Less time spent in the Oval Office and more time making sure your app that you paid $1 billion some for is actually working.
It was
how about that?
Was 30 or 40 billion, wasn't it?
I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, he paid too much.
It was a shit ton of money.
He paid too much. But yeah, man, let's get to it. It's time for the local hour here on.
It is the local hour.
Yeah, it was 44 billion, by the way.
44 billion for a website. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But as you can see on the artwork, I didn't put Grady Jarrett on there because this has been a update as you go day. And Grady Jarrett was not on the team when I sent the stuff to our graphic designer to make the artwork. So anyway, we're gonna get into it, man. The beginning of NFL free agency is kicked off. There's a lot of rumors. Last couple days, we've been hearing 2 names that were attached to the Bears all week, and that was the Atlanta Falcons center Drew Dalman and former Bear and not San Francisco, but Los Angeles Charger Khalil Mack, both linked to the Bears, especially with the Khalil Mack thing started making a little bit more sense with, you're seeing Jaquan Brisker comment on Khalil Mack's Instagram post with eye emojis. The weird video of the Bears social media team put out on Thursday that featured Khalil Mack, Peanut Tillman, Jalen Johnson, Brian Urlacher, and Julius Peppers. But, you got Peanut Tillman, who's a Bears legend. You got Brian Urlacher, and Julius Peppers, who are football Hall of Famers, and then you got Jalen Johnson on the current team, all each had one highlight. But Khalil Mack, who has not been on the team for about 2.5 years, had 4 highlights. And that made me think, like, oh, this is going to happen. And from other people hearing that, it was a good chance happening. Well, when I woke up this morning, I saw that man went back to the Chargers, and I was upset. I was upset, and it had nothing to do with him playing. I just wanted him to finish out his career as a Bear. But 1 year, $18 million, all guaranteed money. That tells me he's probably going to do 1 year and retire. I was hoping that was here. But the signing that was, from everything I heard this week, was as close to 100% as you could get, was Drew Dalman. And then that was the first move that came in probably like 10 minutes after we have right here. Actually, 19 minutes after free agency started. You see him, Adam Schefter, on the screen. Former Falcons center Drew Dalman reached an agreement today on a 3-year, $42 million deal that includes $28 million guaranteed with the Chicago Bears. This deal makes Dalman the NFL's second highest center. Steve Kerr of Wasserman negotiated the deal with Bears general manager Ryan Poles, who has poured his resources into the offensive line. And as you can see, man, like the offensive line is 10 days ago looked nothing like how it looks right now. You've got you traded for Jonah Jackson. You traded for Joe Tooney. You traded for, and now you signed, Drew Dalman. And now you're giving a lot of help to your year 3 right guard, Darnell Wright, and maybe your left tackle. When I say maybe, because I don't know, his future might be asking, do you want a white or brown rice at Chipotle? And that is Braxton Jones. This offensive line looks so much better than it did just 10 days ago. And I don't give Bears general managers a lot of credit, because if you look at my entire lifetime, I've been burned by Bears general managers. In fact, a lot of people who now Bears fans don't know this, the Bears just made general manager position in year 2000. And like, if you want to know how the Bears run, there's a reason, one of the many reasons right there of why they run so crappy for a long time. But I gotta give credit to Ryan Poles. Now, I do think he was, helped by our new head coach, who is Ben Johnson, and knowing what he wants in his team from being the head coach of the Detroit, not head coach, but the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, knowing that they need the trenches. And we've been saying this for years. I feel like I've been saying it on Seven Night Dallas, and my brother been saying it. I know we've been saying it on the show, build through the trenches. Look at every team that has either been to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl. They had dominant trenches on the offensive side and the defensive side. And so I feel like this is a great way to start. Dalman, this is the first Pro Bowl center that the Bears have had since Olin Cruz. It's been a long time since Olin Cruz put on a Bears jersey. A long time. So that shows you just what this position has been lacking for so long. And I don't have to talk myself into Cole and Shelton. I ain't got to talk myself into these mediocre centers. And more, also, he's going to help with the passing game, but with the running game, he's going to be even more effective for DeAndre Swift, maybe Ashton Jeanty. We'll see. But I personally love this deal. Courtney, I want to get your opinion from an outsider perspective before we go to Bane. What do you think about this deal for the Bears and just how they reshaped the O-line already?
No, it's super exciting. If you're a Bears fan, you have to be thrilled. And Banks said it earlier, and that was one of my first thoughts that I had as well, is that this really just, especially in light of the fact, I should say, that he took a sort of hometown deal, and that was a very team-friendly deal. He could have gotten more money elsewhere. It's kind of a culture shift, right? People want to come play for the Bears. Say that out loud again. People want to come play for the Bears. That's got to be super exciting for you guys. I'm excited for you. And yeah, since my team is filled with people that protect kitty diddlers, I might actually watch every Bears game this season. You might have my full attention now. Caleb has some great pieces around him now to do what he needs to do.
Side note, breaking news: friend of the program, Kenny Pickett, has signed with the Cleveland Browns. So
QB of the future.
Yeah, Q, a friend of the program. My Kenny Pickett interview got a lot of views randomly. I was like, this is way more than I expected. Go ahead, man. What you think about this?
Oh, the Eagles got DTR in that trade.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And 5th round pick.
okay. Go ahead, man.
Oh, okay. I mean, when you get DTR, we got to shut down this. We got to shut down the show. Yeah. No,
Stop the presses.
Stop the presses. The Dalman pickup, man. It was expected. A lot of people had pegged him to be the pick for the Bears. Once they figured that he was not going to be re-signing with the Falcons, a lot of people wondered about the fit, more of a zone blocking scheme, more than anything. But I think we'll be okay on that front line, which that's what I'm excited about. We have the interior of the offensive line where while the offensive line has been an issue, the interior was the biggest issue and really hampered a lot. And it greatly improved over the past week. And I am excited, really excited to see what Caleb can do with a clean pocket. Also, I know this is something that we had talked about, but I will semi-echo what Buddy Ass was talking about, where this does give this. I won't use the term no excuses for Caleb, but when it comes to him holding on to the ball, whether there was an issue with the offensive line or not, that was a big issue of him that was scaring people coming out of college. It reared its head a couple of times when it comes to the Bears. Now he has to work on with Ben Johnson, him getting the ball out a lot quicker, a lot faster, and him having trust in the people in front of him may help him to do that.
Yeah, like you said, we're not gonna say that's what I'm looking for. Excuses like being hit as Chris Canty was saying. But if anything, the problems that were here last year, that deterred Caleb Williams from having the most success aren't here anymore. And this gives him the proper opportunity to show his talent. Now, last year when he actually did get time to throw the ball, he was phenomenal. Now you're gonna have a lot more of that. You're gonna have Ben Johnson, better play caller, hopefully a better running game. I think this is just the perfect signing for him. Like you said, Courtney, I ain't even mentioned that at the beginning. He wanted to come here because he was offered more money by other teams, and he decided to come play, protect Caleb Williams, and be in this Ben Johnson system. I think that's amazing. Now let's get through the second signing of the day for the Chicago Bears. They signed edge rusher from the Indianapolis coach, Dayo. Now I know I pronounced my man's name wrong, last name. Let's see. We're going to use syllables. Sound it out.
Odeyingbo.
Huh?
Odeyingbo.
Odeyingbo. Okay. Dayo Odeyingbo. There we go. I ain't gonna mess them brothers' name up. He's a edge player for the Indianapolis Colts. The numbers don't really do him as justice. If you watch his film and you watch his highlights, he has a very motor. He gets to the quarterback. He has 17 QB hits last year. I don't even think the Bears as a defense has 17 QB hits last year. And we've also got this where Sylvie from Waddle and Sylvie said this on the show today from the homie and friend of the program, JJ Stankovic. He works for the Indianapolis Colts, used to be on the Bears beat. JJ told Sylvie that Dayo is a good and bigger defensive end in Allen's system, and he loves it. He can also kick it to the 3-tech as a situational guy. He's a good run stopper and can play the quick pass. Sees him as a 5 to 8 sack guy. So if you got this somebody who is with the Colts all the time, and you can see that. And I also like to see reactions on Twitter from the fan base of a player leaving a team. See how they react. And a lot of Colts fans are like, oh, go ahead and get your money we have for him. Saying, oh, good riddance and things like that. So as far as this one, I think this is a cool signing. I definitely, obviously wanted Josh Sweat. If you spend money he got from Arizona, we'll get into that in hour two. I understand why they didn't do that, especially for a guy on his third contract. But I think there's a lot of high upside. It's not the thing about all of this is giving Montez Sweat as much help as possible. Because last year he didn't have the best year. Numbers came down because people were more focused on him. You know, when he came in here in 2023 in the second half of the season, he had 6 sacks. After having 6 sacks, Washington weren't really game plan for him. And so last year was a different thing. So I believe with this, he'll have a lot more help. The Bears still have 2 really good linebackers, and Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. That's going to help with everything as well. So I like this signing. Didn't love it. At the time when I heard it, I was like, cool. But after the next signing we're about to talk about, I love it. I honestly love what it brings to the team. Courtney, any thoughts on this one? Are you familiar with this game?
No, not really familiar. I remember he had like 3 sacks in like one half against, albeit a very mediocre Patriots offensive line. So hopefully that's not the only case. That's not the case, where he can only perform against dog shit offensive lines. But no, listen, there's not a, I don't mean this disrespectfully. So if anyone's listening to this, please don't take this the wrong way. But there was really only one way you could go from where you were, in my opinion, and that's up. And I think it's an improvement. So again, Bears one free agency today. I will say that.
Every time somebody says don't take it personally, they mean for you to take it personally.
I mean no disrespect.
Every time. No disrespect. And right before niggas about to disrespect you. Bang, what you think about this move?
I'm actually gonna pull up something that came from my homie Nick Cotton Jim, one of my employees at Radio 1 Indianapolis.
I'm sorry, what is their name?
His name is Nick Cotton Jim, not Cotton Gin.
Okay, that's what I thought you said, and I said,
Cotton Jim.
I'd love to know more about that one. Okay.
Cotton Jim, I feel you. But I asked him to tell me about him. It's like we drafted him out of Vanderbilt, but he tore his Achilles while he was practicing for the Senior Bowl. Played a half of a game his first year just to get a couple of NFL reps. Was projected to be a first rounder if he wasn't injured. Big man, great length, pause. Got some bend to him, pause. Just hasn't benefited in the coach system with playing from behind, but had his best year in 23 with 8 sacks. Gus Bradley, former defensive coordinator for the Colts, used the defensive line by committee. So he's always gotten his share reps, but not full time because you had other people in a prove it year. So he sees him as a high reward guy, a high ceiling, high reward guy, not because he was somebody that struggled or whatever. They just used him. They used him in multiple ways. And then also with them using the defensive line by committee, it wasn't enough reps to go ahead and get your joints off. So if used the right way, he could be used as a 3-tech. He could be used as a 3-tech as well. So he could play inside, he could play outside. He sees him as a versatile member of this defensive line, and that's why you paid what you pay for him, because of his age and the premium of the positions that he will play on the line. So if, depending on what happens in the draft, if they go and get another edge, so thinking about what you could get at number 10. Maybe you go get you another edge there, or you could get you an edge with that Carolina pick or your own. You could see him as in a rotation and move him inside, depending on what happens if you move him outside, because you do have Grady Jarrett, who you had talked to earlier, who is a run stuffer, but you have Gervon over there, and you have now Dayo that's over there that can really help out.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, the upside is the best part here. 16 million a year, not bad. He gets 30 of the, I think, 42 guaranteed. So solid contract. And I always say this about money when it comes to the NFL. After being a fan, I don't care because it's not my money. The cap you have to spend. And I'm just glad the Bears are actually spending it this time. Not that the Bears are cheap. I feel like in the Ryan Poles era, they've been very selective on what they spend their money on. And that's been, a lot of it hasn't been like they'll make one splash move and then that's about it. You know what I'm saying? And people saying how much cap they had and how great it is. I believe in your 4th year as a general manager, you shouldn't have as much cap as Ryan Poles had coming into this, but at least he's using it this time. And I think that the upside here is perfect. And I think more than anything, we're talking about players, but scheme is also a thing. And this is, Dennis Allen, as I like to call it, he's a bounty ball, as I like to call it. This is a much different scheme from what Matt Eberflus ran here. I think just that alone, we're going to see a different kind of brand of football, a different kind of brand of defense we haven't seen in Chicago in a couple years. In a couple years, probably since Vic Fangio was here. So I like that. But the second big domino to fall today, this man got released this morning by the Atlanta Falcons. We were also talking about, and I'm not going to hold you, group chat. Shout out to Dante. Dante was like, man, I would love to have this dude on the team. He being in Atlanta and knowing how much he's performed and knowing how people feel about this guy. Grady Jarrett. Defensive tackle, Pro Bowl Grady Jarrett. He signs a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with $28.5 million guaranteed. This right here, I absolutely love this deal. I said this morning, actually been saying the last couple of days, that this D tackle class or free agency class was so deep with all the different players getting released because of people franchises trying to make their cap situation better and things like that. There was no way that the Bears could come out of this without at least grabbing one or two. And before I have a guy as Grady Jarrett, who saw Atlanta Falcons fans were feeling it this morning that he got released, wanted him to be a lifelong Falcon. He wanted to be a lifelong Falcon. They were making releases and restructuring contracts to be able to try to keep Grady there, but it just didn't work out. But this is perfect. This is perfect to me for the Bears because now the dramatic growth we've seen on both sides of the ball. Now you've got a line right now that consists of Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, Dayo, and also you got Big Billings in there and Gervon Dexter, and he's a vet. I think he can go up there and he can mentor Gervon Dexter. We always said last year he showed flashes. His whole career as a Bear, he's shown flashes, but the consistency has never really been there, especially with his first year starting last year. We have Grady Jarrett come in. He can help, and it's a veteran presence. What's the number one thing we heard in the locker room last year, man? We want accountability. They weren't getting us prepared enough. We knew this wasn't going to work back in May. You got vets on this team outside of the coaching staff. We've heard rumors about Ben Johnson. He's a psycho. Don't let the smile fool you. He's a football nut. You even said yourself, man, he maybe gives you John Gruden vibes. You got that coaching staff, Dennis Allen. You got in the offensive side guys like Antoine Randall, who are not going to be taking this. Now you got some vets. Drew Dalman is going to help get that offensive line together. Now you got Grady Jarrett not only helping the defensive line, but that defensive locker room in general to have everybody be what it means to be winners and take it to the next level. And if anything, I think that's just as even more as important as having him just, what he brings to the aspect on the field. Like I said, contract, I think it's a solid contract. Don't have a problem with it. Good money for a vet. And I absolutely love this move. And it kind of puts the hat bow on today's moves, if this is the only 3 moves that we will get today. I love it. I love this move 100%. Courtney, what you think about Grady Jarrett bringing over to Chicago?
No, I feel the exact way that you felt. You bring in those kind of guys like the veterans into your locker room to try to shore up some of the issues that you experienced last season with accountability. I think it's a fantastic sign, and especially when you see how Falcons fans reacted to it, you feel like you probably got somebody good, considering how hurt they were by that move. So yeah, great move for the Bears.
Bang, what's your thoughts on it?
I love this move. In fact, this is my favorite move of the player off season so far. Why? Because Grady Jarrett is a character guy. And what I think was missing from the Bears was these type of players. You got Thuney on the offensive side, and now you got Jarrett on the defensive side. For those who don't know, Jarrett was the NFL Man of the Year finalist for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta organization was trying to figure it out with this man until they just couldn't. And a lot of people, the city of Atlanta loves this guy. So you have on the offensive side of the ball a character guy, on the defensive side of the ball a character guy, and they're still high level players. Like it's one thing to get a high character guy and they huff. Just look at some of the people that Ryan Poles has drafted. But now you get a high character guy who is a high quality player. You can still get time out of and Thuney and Jarrett. But on the defensive side of the ball, I love this move, especially when you get Dayo, who's a younger guy, and you can still go get somebody in the draft too. So no, this to me is a move that I think that's going to help the defense. It's going to help people like Tyreek Stevenson get in line because Grady Jarrett ain't gonna pull that bullshit. I want you to pull that bullshit. A lot of the bullshit that happened during the season with the Bears, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. Now you pair him and Billings together and Gavon Dexter together. Oh, the trenches for the Bears interior are set. You can still go get somebody, but for somebody like a Zach Pickens, you're on the clock, buddy. We can help you. We're learning from this vet, or your ass gonna get cut. So it's on you. But I love this move. My favorite move so far.
Yeah, definitely. He's 100% on the clock. Zach Pickens. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes he's getting he on the team. But yeah, I love these moves. I don't have this on the rundown, but I'm trying to think what else should we see from this team for the rest of free agency? There's gonna be a second wave, there's gonna be a third wave coming of guys who aren't have the biggest names as the guys we've seen get signed today and maybe even tomorrow. I still think that keeping our hope, 99.99% sure that's not going to happen. I would still like to bring Keenan Allen back. I understand the argument for not bringing him back. He's not as fast as, obviously Rome and DJ. Ben Johnson wants more speed in his offense. That's something that they're going to need. Also, maybe just to give more reps and more passes to Rome Odeyingbo, who you're going to need to see a lot more from this year as a 9th pick last year. And a lot of that we saw last year, a lot was Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen got way more targets than I thought he was going to get last season. So that might be something that probably not going to happen, but I still wouldn't mind him coming back. I do think they're going to look for a safety just because you don't know what's going to happen with Kevin Byard. And also the injury history of Jaquan Brisker. Like, you look at every year since he's been in the NFL, he's gotten a concussion that has cost him a couple games. And last year's concussion was a bad one. He got hurt, I think in week 4 or 5 and didn't play for the rest of the year. So that's something that's a little worrisome right there. And it's not it's something that just happened last year. It's happened every year since he's been in the league. So it would not shock me if they look into that. And it also wouldn't shock me if they keep adding to the D-line, whether it's depth or things like that. But I do believe that there's going to be a couple more sneaky moves up here. I think that you pretty much take the Trey Hendrickson thing off the table, which I didn't think was actually maybe a real thing to begin with. Cincinnati's had a little hard time getting rid of him because they want a first-round pick, and I don't know who's going to give him a first-round pick and pay Trey the money that he wants to get paid in a new contract extension. Bang, is there what things do you want to see be added to the Bears in the second and third wave of free agency?
Another edge, opposite of Montez Sweat. Another wide receiver. We need a third wide receiver. Because Keenan Allen is not going to be coming back. So now you got DJ Moore as your number 1. So Rome is your number 2, or maybe we flip it depending on relationships, if you know what I'm saying. And help on the linebacker side and the defensive backfield side. Yeah, we might need to invest in the safety behind Jaquan Brisker, just in case. Want to get more depth on that linebacker side too. Offensive line, if we could get, because Tooney is 32, and you can cut bait after the season if you want to, but this is a Hall of Fame level center. I think we good. I think we could get 3 more years out of Buddy Ass, but I think you do need to make a decision when it comes to your offensive line. Is Hinsdale, folks, are we gonna be able to coach him up to be a swing tackle? Right now, we got Bill Murray over there too. We're probably gonna need maybe 1 to 2 more bodies over there too. So we can see what depth they get during free agency, if they're done or not. But as far as bringing people in, I think this does help out the draft, and you don't have to really just hone in on having to. It gives you some options, even some best player available type stuff.
Yeah, I think Orlando put it right there in the chat, Cal Gordon extension. That's something I would like to see. And one thing you've seen before free agency started this year was a lot of people re-signing a lot of their own guys. A lot of people did not hit the market this year because of the guys being re-signed. And we always say that Brian Poles said in his first press conference since becoming a Bear is he wanted to build through the draft. And Kyler Gordon be the first guy that he drafted that will be eligible for an extension. So I think that's something that, I hope will happen. But I'm with you with everything else. Just keep adding to both. You can never have enough linemen. And I think that's something we've learned from watching football lately, man. Let's go to our final topic here in the local hour. At the draft coming up. In about 6 weeks, Bears have the number 10 pick. And I think these last week to 9 days have really made this draft, I won't say easier for the Bears, but kind of easier. There's not as much pressure coming to this draft. You got 1 first rounder, you got 2 second rounders, you got a couple third rounders, and now you can go best player available and go to things that obviously you need, but also luxuries, I feel, as well. And I know some Bears fans don't want to hear this, but Ashton Jeanty is officially on the table here, folks. We all know one of the many things that made Detroit successful was the double back lineup that they had with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's something that Ben Johnson even talked about since he's been head coach of the Bears, was having a run again. He's given love to DeAndre Swift and said he would love to have somebody complimentary to him. And now that you've taken care of the offensive line, you're taking care of the defensive line to the point where you don't have to go OL or DL with the 10th pick, I think he 100% comes to play. Ashton Jeanty was pretty much campaigning to be a Bear during draft week, not draft week, but during the Super Bowl, and also a little bit during the combine as well. So that wouldn't shock me whatsoever if they decide to do that. This is a really great running back draft. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ashton Jeanty, but if anything, it makes them flexible. You can trade down, maybe you can trade up. You feel a little more comfortable about going big game hunting if you want to do that. It leaves everything open on the table for the Bears, and that's the best situation that you want to be as a franchise heading into the NFL draft, where you got multiple options that you can go and not feel like something relies too much on in this one specific area. Courtney, what would you feel with the 10th pick, knowing what the Bears roster is right now? What do you think should be a good move for them? Should they trade back? Should they go and take Ashton Jeanty? Well, here's a better question. As a big Ashton Jeanty fan that you are, do you think that he should be taking the pick 10 now that you've got both lines solidified?
100%. 100%. I think Ashton Jeanty is a top 5 player in this draft. And if he's still available come pick 10, I feel like you got to take him. You've done right by your organization. You, as in Ryan Poles, right? You've done right by your organization in shoring up a lot of the issues that the Bears have had, which is offensive line issues. And, you've made some moves for defense. And I feel like you got to go best player available. Bang said it. You said it, Scott. You got to go best player available. And if he's available, you got to take him. No more. I understand it kind of seems like a good idea, especially after trading away picks to try to get some more draft capital back. But no, I think if Jeanty's available at 10, you get him.
Bang, what do you think? What do you think about this, the Jeanty part, and just where the Bears stand coming into this draft?
The Jeanty part, that love the kid. I kind of love the pick. But running back is a luxury. I guess the question that I have at this point right now, running back is a luxury. I do think the running back position is coming back, but right now is a luxury. Are we there yet to where we could go get a luxury? I'm not gonna lie, folks. Got me scared of Will Campbell right now because his arms, they got me thinking that his arms is like
he got them,
dinosaur.
yeah, what was that TV show back in the day with the dinosaur baby?
Yeah, dinosaurs. Yeah,
dinosaurs. Yeah. Will Campbell got them dinosaurs on. Yeah, who the baby? Yeah, they who the baby.
I heard. I was reading something about you guys taking the OT from Mizzou.
Right, I saw
Armand Membu.
Yeah, I saw that too. Josh Simmons from Ohio State, saw a couple of options on the offensive side, on the tackle side.
But do you feel? I'm sorry. May I ask a question before you answer?
No, go ahead.
Do you feel like even with the offensive tackle and offensive line, acquisitions that you guys just made, do you feel like you don't feel good enough about your current situation that you'd rather your first pick, the number 10 pick in the draft, you would rather have, again, you're taking a chance either way on a player. These are rookies, right? There's no firm belief that Ashton Jeanty's talent is going to translate over into the league. There's never a guarantee. But do you feel more comfortable taking the risk on an offensive tackle or a running back?
Everything depends on the health of Braxton Jones. Because you also got to remember, like he's almost at re-sign mode, right, Scott? Like
he's like a year away, I'll probably say.
Right, yeah.
But he had like an injury. He's had a surgery. He's gonna miss some time.
Right. So he had a major injury. That's there too. So it's all about if the Bears are comfortable at the left tackle position. And you're not going to put Thuney over there like the Chiefs did. If the Bears are not comfortable about where Braxton Jones is, then there's a left tackle situation that's about to happen. And then you start to wonder what happens with Braxton Jones. Depending on what happens on the offensive line, can you move him in the interior and stuff like that if Thuney does not work out? There's all of those things, but it's all around if the Bears are comfortable with the progress of Braxton Jones and where they're at. Because right now, Hinsdale, folks, is the backup left tackle because they have not brought back Mac Pryor. Larry Borum is probably gone too. So they're going to have to get somebody at that position. Now, offensive, the trenches and running backs are the best positions in this draft. You don't have to go pick 10 to go get you a quality left tackle in this draft. You don't have to go get Jeanty at pick 10 to get a running back at this draft. You remember last during the college season, you were singing the praises of Caleb Johnson. Could he be somebody in the later rounds? Yeah. Hampton from UNC. Could he be somebody that you could get?
He might go early.
He might go early.
I think he might go early too.
So could you trade back, get you an extra pick or two, and see Hampton right there and go grab him? Don't necessarily grab a running back. So that's why what they did with the offensive line in free agency is so important, because now you give yourself more options, more than just who you drafted, but what you can get during trades to trade back possibly.
Yeah, and I think that's why for me, when Ashton Jeanty rumors first came out, I said absolutely not, because they don't have the offensive line to protect him. That was my biggest issue. Now that you got this offensive line solidified, now let me get this straight. If Will Campbell's available at 10, little arms and all, I'm still taking him. I'm still taking him if he's available at 10. But I don't think he's going to be available at 10. And if Ashton Jeanty is there and Ben Johnson says, I want that dude, you go over there and you get him. You believe in your head coach and what his philosophy is, what kind of offensive program he wants to run here. Then you go ahead and do it. I'm at the point right now, outside of something egregious like drafting a nigga we ain't never heard of, I'm fine with either way they go because of how they have, taken care of both sides of the lines. So it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be something I hate, but I do believe there's a lot of fire around, a lot of smoke around this. Sylvie said people were telling him about it. Then Jeremiah said of Rich Eisen today that the Ashton Jeanty rumors are real and the Bears are seriously considering that. So with everything is the way it is right now, I personally have no problem with it. But the Bears have got to be feeling good going into this draft, knowing that they've got enough to have their quarterback protected, and they've got enough to be able to get to the opposing team's quarterback. And now you're going to take those 3 high-value picks, and I think you can go BPA now, best player available. So that's what I'm excited to see next month with the draft, man. So that is all we got for the local. Nothing else, bro. We'll see what else happens these next couple of days before Friday's show. But I got to give a round of applause to Ryan Poles. Good job. Nice first day. In the words of the immortal Kobe Bryant, job's not finished. There's still a lot more to get done, and you got to make this roster as flawless as you can. What's the thing we've seen in football year in and year out? The teams with the deepest rosters always go the furthest. Just look at Philadelphia, man. So that's what I need to do. But honestly, as a Bears fan, I know we like to complain a lot. I don't think there's anything you can complain about right now, unless you just like be one of the people who just like complaining for.
Garrett Cole having Tommy John surgery tomorrow though.
Garrett Cole, Tommy John. We yesterday they told him that they were looking for a second opinion. Second opinion must have came in and said he getting Tommy John. Has anybody having a worse month for baseball than the Yankees? Like they're having a rough time ever since they lost Juan Soto, man. And we're going to talk baseball next week on the show as the Dodgers will kick off defense of their World Series title in Tokyo. They'll be playing the Chicago Cubs. So we'll be talking about that next week as well. So we're going to take a quick 1-minute break. On the other side, we're going to get into the rest of the free agent news. Josh Allen got paid. He is the highest paid quarterback in football. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's like, you know what? Ain't that important to me. We're going to talk about that and all the other free agent moves that didn't happen outside of the Bears. On the other side here, I'm not going to hold you. We'll be right back.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for I'm Not Gonna Hold You here on H&B Media and the Barber Network, man, the free agency breakdown special, man. Let's just get right into it. Of course, there's other football moves going on in the world that have nothing to do with the beloved. And we're going to start with a couple of contract extensions that happen. We're not just going to only talk agency. A lot of trades that happen, a lot of action over this last week in the NFL, but we're going to start one of the best quarterbacks in football. That is Mr. Josh Allen. Joshua Allen is having him one hell of an offseason. Even though he lost Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, he's getting engaged to Haley Stein. He's engaged to Haley Steinfeld, and he just got a massive payday. A 6-year, $320 million contract extension that includes $250 million fully guaranteed. This is the largest guarantee ever going to an NFL player, man. If you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're Lamar Jackson, I know you're looking at this deal and you're salivating right now, but this is an NBA type contract, right? This is some Jason Tatum money right here for Josh Allen. Didn't get to the big game, but he had an incredible season. When a lot of people didn't think he's going to have it, I think he is well deserving of this money. And it just shows you that if you have a really, really good quarterback, that's why you need to take advantage of him being on his rookie deal. Like we've been talking about with the Bears, like we were talking about with Jalen Hurts before he got his contract. Because when it's time to pay your quarterback, and if he's even half decent, as we're going to see with Sam Darnold in just a minute, he is getting a big paycheck. And, and my man Josh Allen got all of it right here. Amazing deal for him. Every time I see an athlete get paid a lot of money, I'm like, well, I got it unless you height and athletic ability. Because this is ridiculous. I wouldn't even want to play anymore. This is $250 million guaranteed, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't even know what that first check looks like. I know it's probably crazy, but Courtney, you're a part of the We Hate Josh Allen fan club. What do you think about this deal for Joshua? Oh, that's fine.
Here we go. Thank you. I think it's fantastic.
There we go.
That's a fine.
Thought she was gonna get away with it.
I think it's a great deal for him. I mean, congratulations. Like you said, nobody's having a better past few months than Josh Allen right now, except maybe Jalen Hurts. But no, I mean, great for him. Like I just messaged y'all earlier. I'm like, oh, let's see what other kind of moves that the Bills might make in free agency. And who'd they sign? Josh Palmer?
Yeah.
Okay.
They ain't got it. We ain't got it. I
know they paid Khalil Shakir some money, and that's great and all. But I would like to see Josh Allen surrounded with more talent, because I'd hate for him to end up in a kind of like Patrick Mahomes-esque situation where it's like, man, it don't matter who he's throwing the ball to, where they just like fill the offense with just random guys that they can pay right now because they're giving all this fucking money to Josh Allen.
Now, when you said that you would hate for that, are you being sarcastic?
Not really.
I think you love that.
Listen, as being completely objective here, it would be good for football to see Josh Allen be more successful with the Bills and sort of dethrone Patrick Mahomes, right? As we've seen from this most recent Super Bowl, people are kind of over Patrick Mahomes and have Chiefs fatigue. So it would be nice to see somebody else come out the AFC that isn't Patrick Mahomes. And as much as I do love Lamar Jackson, it feels like it's sort of almost primed for Josh Allen to be that guy. I don't agree with that, but the way the media and the narratives, shaping up, it's always been, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes and not, Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. That's kind of just the sort of narrative that we've seen. So yeah, I think I would like to see him be more successful, but until that day comes, I still got smoke.
I gotta be real. As a natural born hater, your hate isn't strong enough. I don't want Aaron Rodgers to even have a good day. I hope all his days are terrible. I hope he slipped on something this morning.
I'm with you there, because there's quarterbacks that I like. I don't have anything personal against Josh Allen. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. Again, no ill will toward him personally. Whereas Aaron Rodgers, I really, like you said, I hope that nigga steps on a Lego when he gets out of bed in the morning, every morning. I just don't like him personally. So, yes, of course, I would love to see him, like I said last week, for him to be Bill Belichick out of the NFL and end up with no job. That would, oh my God, I'm around.
You know what? You ever been on a walk and then you get one of them annoying pebbles in your sock or in your shoe? And it's ridiculously painful. I hope Aaron Rodgers feels it every day. That's how strong my hate is for Aaron Rodgers. I hope he feels that pain every day. So yeah. So you don't really hate Josh. You just have a high dislike for him. That's probably what that is.
Yeah. That's all.
Okay, that makes more sense now. Bang, what do you think about this new deal?
I mean, Josh Allen is one of the handful of of elite quarterbacks in the NFL. You got him. You got Lamar, who's already got paid. You got Burrow that already got paid. You got Pat that already got paid. So it was his turn, and he's there. I better not see no second tier quarterback get this type of money. But also everybody should send a thank you to Deshaun Watson. Because without Deshaun Watson, these contracts would not have ballooned to where they're at. But hey, man, when you got a top flight quarterback like this, you got to do it. And they're doing it. I just hope they find a way to improve the team in areas where he's not doing everything, and they're not saying that we just paid you $250 million guaranteed. Go deal with it. So they better hit on the draft, and Sean McDermott better stop doing stupid shit. But you got to do it when you got an elite quarterback like Josh Allen.
Even though I don't think that McDermott is on the hot seat per se, I wouldn't close Zillow all the way yet. I would still have it like in a tab. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially now that you've paid Josh Allen, there's going to be more heat on you to get the job done for sure, man. So salute to Josh Allen, man. Well, definitely, man. You get the move. You marry the movie star and you get to have $250 million. Some things get all the luck. Anyway, let's move on to the guy who kicked this week off, Mr. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett said, I want to go. I don't want to be in Cleveland anymore. And as somebody who's visited Cleveland multiple times, I understand. He even went on Super Bowl week. I saw this big nigga walking all through Radio Row, stopping each interview place saying he's not going to budge, blah, 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 blah. He's not. He wants to go. And the ownership and the general manager of the Cleveland Browns like, yeah, that's cool. But you're still under contract, my boy. That's not going to happen. We're not trading you. You're not going anywhere. And then we find out this week that he has a contract extension, a record contract extension. Myles Garrett has a 4-year contract extension that is an average of $40 million a year. And it's 100, what's called? It's I'm looking for it right here. I don't know, I lost it. But it's $40 million a year for Myles Garrett, making him the highest non-quarterback paid in the NFL, man. So salute to Myles Garrett. And this goes on to my theory that I've been saying for a long time. I've had this debate with family members and friends who think I was wrong about this. So basically, to do over the contract on time, $40 million per year is $123.5 million in guaranteed money. So yeah, massive contract. And I said that everybody has a number. You may not know what your number is. You may not think that you have a number. Everybody has a number. And what's funny, that number is probably a lot smaller than a lot of you think, but the number is. And this just proves that right now. If you want to be real when it comes to football legacy talk, unless you're a quarterback, rings don't really care. Like, we don't care how many rings Ray Lewis has. We really care how many rings, even though he has a lot of them, that Jerry Rice has. It's the quarterbacks who are judged by championship. If I'm a defensive end, nigga, pay me. Pay me 100%. And he had amnesia. And shout out to his agent, Nicole Lynn. She is amazing. By the way, everybody up there. David Mulligetta, all them. He just got Justin Fields paid. If you're an athlete, I'm not an athlete. I want them to be my agent. Like, they make sure they get their client paid. And that's an amazing deal for Myles Garrett. They got the number 2 draft pick. I'm not believing in the plan they have, but I would live in the middle of Iowa for the rest of my life if you were paying me $40 million a year. You can price me if you want. It doesn't really matter. So I like this deal. Courtney, what you think about this?
It's funny because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, well, how is he going to walk this back to Browns fans after basically implying that the team wasn't headed in a championship winning direction. First off, I don't know if NFL fans have and expect the same kind of loyalty out of their players than like maybe the NHL and maybe even baseball, just because baseball, like, I feel like both those sports are still incredibly regional, so maybe there's a little bit more loyalty that those leagues and fans of teams in those leagues expect out of players. NFL, I feel like it's kind of, it's a bag hunt more than anything at this point, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Did you ever watch Mad Men, Scott? Bang.
I saw a little bit of it. I never finished.
I saw. Is that the one with the top
Don
heavyweight
Draper.
one?
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Hamm, yeah, as Don Draper. Anyway, there's a scene in the show where Peggy gets mad at Don Draper because she's like, "Oh, well, you never say thank you," and he's like, "That's what the money is for."
That's a bar.
All that to say, that's what the money is for. You don't, Myles Garrett, you're a Hall of Famer. Let's be real. Myles Garrett is a Hall of Famer, and now he's going to just be a paid Hall of Famer. He might never win a ring, but he is a Hall of Famer. Good for you, baby. Buy your own ring. You know, if you can afford it.
Be a champion at the bank.
Correct. Congratulations.
Bang, what's your thoughts on Myles Garrett getting the payday?
Hey man, I want to shout out a legend, a icon, a man who was so wealthy that he didn't even worry about getting any world championships. He made his own because he had the money to do it. I want to shout out to my man, Theodore Marvin DiBiase Sr.,
the $1 million man.
Y'all also know him as the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase. When that man told you all, everybody got a price. Everybody got one. And Scott, you said it. Nobody goes to a defensive lineman and say, "Hey, you ain't got no ring." Matter of fact, Scott, let's a little trivia question.
Okay.
Defensive end who won back-to-back Super Bowls in the 90s. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. He won, and I'll give you a hint. He got those rings with the Dallas Cowboys
and the Niners. I know my man's name.
It don't even matter because don't nobody even give a damn about him doing that.
He got
nobody talks about him. Don't nobody care. But Courtney, who is he?
Is it Haley?
Yep,
exactly.
Charles Haley, let's go.
Nobody give a damn about Charles Haley winning the ring. Nobody.
I bet we know how many rings Aikman got.
All right. We talk about how many rings he got, though. Yeah. Matter of fact, remember when Reggie White said God sent me to Green Bay? No, he later said, nah, it was the money. So look, all I'm saying is he can ring chase when this contract is over with. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get this money with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
gonna do. I feel him, man. And there was a couple moves I forgot to add on here. I'm gonna add on here as well. But we gotta go with the Las Vegas Raiders, who made a lot of moves this week. We gotta start with Max Crosby. I thought was actually gonna be available for maybe the Bears or any other team who's going to be out there looking for a defensive end, but he is not going to be available as the Raiders locked up their homegrown talent. And he signed a 3-year, $106.5 million extension that includes $91.5 million guaranteed. At the time, made the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. That was until the man we just talked about, Myles Garrett, signed his contract. Definitely well down for Max. I don't have any real big takes on that, so I'm going to move on to the next person, a guy who we have been wondering all year, what's his contract going to look like, because he had a year that nobody thought he was going to have, and that is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, ladies and gentlemen, is a member of the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks traded their quarterback Geno Smith to the Vegas Raiders. We'll get into that in just a minute on what those numbers were. He got an extension as well, but he gets a 3-year, $110.5 million contract with, $55 million guaranteed for Mr. Sam Darnold. A contract that we're gonna look at 2 years from now. Like, what were they thinking? The Sam Darnold we saw at the end of the season is the real Sam Darnold, and that's crazy about the NFL. Really, sports in general, but mainly the NFL. All it takes is 1 year. You forget about the 6 bum years you had before that. So still to Sam Darnold. I don't see how this helps the Seahawks whatsoever. It's a very lateral move. to me. I think that Geno is no better quarterback than Sam Darnold. So I don't really see where they're going with this, especially after trading DK Metcalf as well. But yeah, like I said, congrats to Sam Darnold. And for the Vikings, it should be JJ McCarthy time. That's what it sounds like to me, that they're gonna give the reins to JJ McCarthy after drafting him so high last year. Courtney, any thoughts on Sam Darnold getting his payday? Is it more than you expected, or just right around where you thought it was gonna be?
No, I mean it's about what I expected, I guess. Shout out to his agent, because like you said, who he was in the second half of the season toward the end of the season is exactly who he is. So it really just feels like a salary cap adjusted version of Geno Smith, which honestly clearly just shows that both of them, because the difference is like $4 million a season between what Geno was being paid and what Sam Darnold's being paid. So clearly they just wanted to, I think, just be done with each other and move on. But again, that's probably why I'm not a GM, because I just would have gone, I think, full rebuild and tanked for Arch Manning personally.
I'd be one of the worst GMs you've ever seen, because I wouldn't care. I'd just be spending money. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, I'm playing Madden. I'm like, oh, what? That's how much you want per year? That's fine. That's fine with me. Bang, what you think about Darnold getting this money?
Orlando just said it. It put that comment back up. It just shows you how ass this draft class is. This is why I'm not a fan of long-term success with the quarterbacks that we have in this draft right now. Just not a fan of it. We'll see what happens. But also, this is par for the course. Look, Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow, more experienced than some of these cats that's coming up in there. And it's a 3-year deal when it comes to it. So you still got a little bit of wiggle room. You're not banking your organization on him. But if it works out, you can redo that contract and extend it a little bit more. But I'm not mad at it. He has experience with Clint Kubiak, who was over there with him with San Francisco. So he's not going into a situation where he is not totally in the dark with who he's going to have. He's going to have somebody that he has experience with and all of that. He does have a good wide receiver that's over there, and hopefully they could replenish that. But I'm not mad at this at all because of all of those situations that I mentioned right there. But it also just shows me that this quarterback class is maybe too deep, maybe. But it is more iffy than any of the last couple of classes coming in to the draft. This is probably the most iffiest since the Kenny Pickett draft. So, yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, man. And so Seattle's first move that they made was trading Geno Smith to the Las Vegas Raiders. Geno is going to be reunited with his head coach that he was with, that is Pete Carroll. I'm looking up the actual numbers for this, but I know I think like a 4th round draft pick was given up in exchange, and I'm trying to find it right here, how much he got paid yearly. I think it was like $45 million or something like that. For what he got. Anyway, so the Raiders taking all 31 of his money that he owes this year, and I don't see how much he's getting, but I think it was like $40 million that he's getting per year for Geno. I like this move for the Raiders. Like, Geno is nothing to get like super excited about, but considering the quarterbacks that they've had the last couple of years, I think that's a very, very big upgrade. People get the Seahawks won 10 games last year, so I like that deal for the Raiders. Anything on Geno before we move on to the next signing? No, nothing.
I got nothing.
I will say that this is a good move for the Raiders. They need somebody. I don't think you go get a rookie quarterback with Pete Carroll. You go get somebody experienced. And with Chip Kelly being right there, I think Geno Smith is in a good situation.
All right, man. Let's get into our next signing for the day. Our former quarterback, Mr. Justin Fields, decided to hit the market to kind of see what his value would be instead of immediately going right back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he got himself a big payday here from the New York Jets, as he would be their new starting quarterback. He gets a 2-year, $40 million contract that includes 30 of that 40 guaranteed. This was negotiated by David Mulligeta of Athletes First. Man, shout out to Ono. Always want to see him doing good. As far as talking about media, going from Chicago media to New York media, it's kind of the same thing. In fact, them niggas are worse than us. So God bless. I don't know much about their offensive coordinator. I know somebody that Aaron Glenn brought over from Detroit, but the good thing is he'll be playing with his former Buckeye teammate, and that is Garrett Wilson, or Johnny Gillface, as I like to call him, and of course Breece Hall in the backfield. So I definitely think he has some weapons. He's not going to have to compete with anybody. That was the number one thing he was looking for a good for a new team, and I think that he has a legitimate shot. In Chicago, you always say whatever happened. I feel like those debates will rage on in Chicago lure, especially if Caleb doesn't pan out the way we want him to. If Caleb pans out the way we think he will, I don't think we're going to be talking about it. But if he don't, I definitely think it'd be a discussion on fumbling whatever Justin had here. But Justin has a legitimate shot. He's coming in with a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, good offensive weapons. They've got a solid defense over the Jets, and it's a big opportunity for Justin Fields. Courtney, what you think about this match for Justin? Do you think it works for him, and do you think it works for the Jets?
I mean, I think this is the best case scenario for him. You are going to a team that doesn't have terribly high expectations. It's not a very crowded division, but it's a better for him than I'd say being in Pittsburgh and that being a very competitive division. But again, I think he's making a lot more money than maybe the Steelers anticipated him actually making, which again, this is a huge W for Justin. And as someone who likes Justin Fields and is a self-admitted Justin Fields apologist, I'm thrilled for the guy. He's got generational wealth now. Hopefully he finally gets over that hump that this is what, year 5?
This will be year 5 he'll be heading into.
Yeah, year 5 of I hope. God, I want to see the guy do well.
Yeah.
The Jets aren't going to do well, but I want to see him personally do well because I do like the guy. But again, that's what the money is for. Enjoy the check.
Enjoy the check. I'm with you. I want to see Justin. You know how people say that I want you to do well. I do want him to do well, but not better than us. I'm sorry.
No. Of course. I understand because then you got to have the talk, right?
Yeah, and if Caleb
goes, like you said, if it goes the opposite way, and say Caleb doesn't have a great season and Justin does have a great season. Oh my God.
It's not going to come from me.
Talking heads.
If Caleb is amazing, I'll be Justin's biggest fan. If Caleb is amazing, I'll be Justin's biggest fan. If not, I'll be worried a little bit. And we just got some breaking news here. As Bang put in the chat, couple things. Rams are planning to release Cooper Kupp at the start of the new league year unless the trade materializes. Also, former Broncos quarterback Zach Wilson has agreed to a 1-year, $6 million fully guaranteed deal that could grow to $10 million with the Miami Dolphins. So it looks like he'll be backing up to it. That's a good question. I don't think it's gonna cost that much.
Can y'all?
I don't think it's gonna.
I don't
think it's gonna cost that much. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think
did you just say a gently used Cooper Kupp?
Gently used Cooper Kupp. Well, he was gently used last year. I would welcome that. I think he's probably gonna go ring chase, but I would welcome that. Bang. We still about our boy Justin Fields heading over to MetLife Stadium, the Meadowlands.
Hey man, I had said what was that last week that I like Justin Fields with the Jets. When you look at Breece Hall and Braylon Allen being over there, like the way that this team is set up offensively is where Justin is successful at. Also, when you look at, he still got Garrett Wilson over there. I don't know if they're going to let go of Alan Lazard. The offensive line is much, much better than he used to seeing. Much better than he's used to seeing. Oh, no, man. I got a little bit of hope for Justin Fields and the New York Jets. I'm not saying they're going to be better than the Miami Dolphins and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that when you got Aaron Glenn has seen Justin Fields for the last couple of years kill his Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Like he's seen him run through him. I'm just looking at their offensive coordinator situation. I had to look it up to get my man name because I'll be forgetting. But Tanner Instrand was the passing game coordinator for the Detroit Lions. And a lot of people look at Tanner like, coming from that Ben Johnson tree. So that's my concern. You're putting Justin in another situation. Well, he's going into another situation where he has a new offensive coordinator, but this one is a first-time offensive coordinator. This one is somebody who has never called plays. This is somebody who's going from a passing game coordinator shooting all the way up to that. That's my concern. But when you look at the talent that Justin's going to have around him, this talent is better than the talent he had around him with the Bears.
Yep.
And you got Garrett Wilson, who is somebody he's familiar with.
Yep.
So I think that he has a good shot here. I wouldn't be surprised if this works. I would not be surprised if they have a better record than the Miami Dolphins.
Look, man, I hope it works. I hope it works 100% because we're not going to say excuses because, look, if anybody who deserves an excuse, it's Justin Fields. Like, with all the shit that he dealt with in Chicago, and honestly, the shit that he dealt with Pittsburgh. Like, he was cooking a little bit the first month, and they sat him down for Mr. Unlimited. So he's gone through a lot. And people, I think we forget now because it's been so long since he's been in the league. Him and Trevor Lawrence were the magic and bird of their state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Both of those boys have murals in their home cities in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? They are football gods where they come from. Neither one of their careers panned out the way we all thought it would. This is the last chance for both of them. If Trickoff Trev don't get it right with Liam Cohen, he's done. If Justin can't get it right with a new head coach, with an organization that's backing him, with a new offensive coordinator who's from the Ben Johnson tree, with weapons, a guy who you played you played 2 years in college with Garrett Wilson, and you got a running game, and they've got a really good defense with the Jets as well, then it's over for Justin as well. So I'm really rooting for him, but I think that out of all the spots that were out there for him, this one makes the most sense. There's two deals we just gonna quickly go over. Josh Sweat, Super Bowl champion, he is signing a 4-year, $76.4 million deal with Arizona Cardinals. $41 million is that guaranteed. Not too much to say about it. He's going from champion to the abyss. But get your money, Playboy. You got your ring. Go get your money. Darius Slay, big play Slay, friend of the program. Big play Slay. He told us at the Super Bowl that he felt he was getting cut. So I can say that now that he actually signed. He told us that off camera. But he said that he knew he was going to get cut, and he felt like this is going to be his last game with the Eagles. He signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now we got some Pittsburgh Steelers news here. It sounds like Aaron Rodgers might be heading to Pittsburgh, and he's still actively having negotiations with not just the Steelers, but also the New York Giants. We talked about that last week. Their plan would be for that, signing Aaron Rodgers, trading up or staying with it to draft Cam Ward and kind of have Aaron groom Cam Ward to be the next quarterback. But it sounds like the favorite right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That doesn't make any sense to me, man.
Go ahead, Courtney. Go ahead.
It defies all fucking comprehension. Okay, sending that to be a head the head quarterback anywhere, to be QB1 anywhere is beyond fucking comprehension. We all just, I feel like I'm going fucking crazy. Did we not all just see how, yes, the Jets have always kind of been have always had a slight bit of disarray as an organization and have always been, a little off just because of their ownership. I mean, ownership kind of is the beginning and end of all fucking drop. But did we not just see how this man went into New York and just completely fucked that organization up so bad that they're basically starting back from, pardon the expression, from ground zero? Okay, they're starting from the fucking bottom.
That should be funny, but it is.
I'm sorry. It's just an apt fucking analysis. You just saw how that man went into New York and completely fucked up the vibe of an organization that at the time had a lot of promise. And you're like, yeah, you know what? Sign me up for a couple of seasons of that. You already got 2 fucking crash outs at wide receiver now. And mind you, I did say on Friday, DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I know we're going to get into that in a second. But I said that honestly kind of checks it. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin's fucking locker room?
Oh, my God.
I can't even. Clinton Yates said it. Clinton Yates said it on his show, Clinton and Friends. He said, I need that on Hard Knocks immediately. And I agree. I would love to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, that's what I need. I don't care what they got to figure out. I need that on Hard Knocks immediately.
Shout out front of the program, Clinton Yates. And this reminds me of that. Remember that? You ever seen that video of that nigga who had a MAGA shirt on? This the new racism? I need that racism. That's what the Steelers are saying, trying to get Aaron Rodgers. I'm with you. But this is what being a future Hall of Famer buys you. And the fact that they think this nigga is a 4-time Super Bowl champion. So if you talk about Aaron Rodgers, you would act like he didn't win a championship in Obama's first year in office. It was a long time ago. A long time ago, my nigga. Like, Usher didn't even put out that album that had Hey Daddy on it. That's how long ago it's been since he won a championship. There's no team, like you just said, that I would look at. You know what? That's a great fit for Aaron. And not only because it's play declining, but the stuff that's going to come with it. He's going to be on Pat McAfee every Thursday talking about, let's talk about COVID. Was it really real? Was 9/11 an inside job? Like, that's the kind of stuff you're going to be bringing with you as well. And I love Mike Tomlin. If the pen goes to paper, you are now my mortal enemy. And I hate to say it, but the friend of my enemy is also my enemy. And I hate it has to be like that because I love Mike Tomlin. But this makes no sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense because, again, you're bringing in just such a tremendous amount of toxicity. If he were good, it's kind of like what we talk about with like Trevor Bauer, right? Like if Trevor Bauer was good enough to justify coming back into Major League Baseball, they would have brought him back into Major League Baseball because there's been no, as far as we know, no fucking crime that someone can commit that their talent can't outweigh, you know? If Aaron Rodgers was good enough to justify what, Bang?
I think y'all doing too much here, and I don't even like Aaron Rodgers. I think y'all doing too much with the Aaron Rodgers came in and tore up the Jets. Like the Jets head coach was Robert Saleh. He's a first-time head coach, and they really needed Aaron Rodgers. And then Jeff Ulbrich takes over. Like that whole situation was that.
But the context is important, though.
Aaron I know the context.
Was pulling a lot of the strings, and they allowed him to do it.
But also context is important. Where Mike Tomlin is probably not just one of the best coaches in the NFL, he's probably one of the most realest niggas in the NFL too. And 100%. Aaron, he's not going to. We've seen him remove more toxicity out of that locker room than brought in. So if I had to look at one of the two, I am always going to give Mike Tomlin the benefit of the doubt that he's not going to let somebody come up in his locker room and fuck it up, especially Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers has the respect for him, like I know he do, he's not going to do that. He's not coming in bringing in all of his homies. He's not coming in if this happens, because I'm not sure that this is going to happen. If he comes in, he's not bringing in an offensive coordinator. He's not bringing in a quarterback.
Yeah, because Well, because he can. He's already been given the keys once and has proven himself unreliable and incapable of being successful in those circumstances.
So that's why I believe that the
You're right, man. You better
that's why
with your fucking tail tucked between your legs.
Yeah, and that's why I believe
this is your last chance.
And that's why I believe if the conversation is going to be around anything with Aaron Rodgers, it's not about the baggage that he brings in. It's about if he's capable of doing the job. Now, if we want to have a conversation about if he's capable of doing the job, if we're looking at the candidates right now at the quarterback position, it's not a lot to choose from, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Darnold is now gone. Justin Fields is now gone, and you probably didn't want to pay him as much as the Jets paid him. And I probably wouldn't either. But you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Russell Wilson, you got Kirk Cousins. That's who you choosing with. That's what you choosing from. And out of the three, the person who had the best season, coming off of a torn Achilles, playing 17 games, was Aaron Rodgers. If you pair Aaron Rodgers with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, and I can't pronounce my man's last name, I think that you have a better shot at doing something with any of the quarterbacks that I just named. It's a situation that by default, you might have to do something with Aaron Rodgers. By default. And that's not saying much. Now, I forgot what pick that they have in the draft this year. And it's about to be. I've been on this train accidentally because I felt like for a while he was going to be a first round pick. But if you could come out with all of that and you have Jackson Dart as a backup, maybe, just maybe, you're going to be okay short term and long term. But in this situation,
the leader of the Jackson Dart,
I am not a member. I am not a member of the fan club. I just know how people feel about white quarterbacks, and they gonna bend the rules for some of them. But yeah, I just think
21st pick, by the way.
Go take it to your mom. So yeah, you say the 21st?
Yes, the 21st pick.
So yeah, so if you could come out with Jackson Dart at the 21st pick, between him and Kenny Pickett, I think he's gonna have a better career than Kenny Pickett. But you keep Aaron Rodgers for 1 to 2 years, and you let Jackson Dart grow, and then you move on. But yeah, I don't think, like I see Orlando say Mike Tomlin is thirsty. Nah, I don't think he's thirsty. I think it's just one of those situations where you're picking the best worst player.
Best of the worst.
You're picking the best of the worst right now.
That's such an awful position for an organization to be in, especially after you literally just gave DK Metcalf a 5-year, $150 million contract.
But Aaron Rodgers with them too.
Aaron Rodgers also was able to bring in Devontae Adams, and again, I just say all this to say it's like we're constantly doing, not we obviously, but it's like we're constantly putting this man in positions to succeed, and even with his ego and who he is, he still manages to fuck it up.
He's failing up. Aaron Rodgers is failing up. The man would have got the Rams job if Matt Stafford would have got traded. He would have been a Los Angeles Ram if that would have happened. He would have failed all the way up if that would have happened.
I still think that even outside of the antics and stuff like that, he's just not that good anymore. Is he better than what the Pittsburgh is saying? Yes. But you can argue since Raplesberger left, their quarterback, who they picked, and has been as bad as anybody in the NFL. So yeah, it's better than that. But I don't think even the numbers he put up, like last year, he put up some of the best numbers for a Jets quarterback ever. But they were kind of like empty calories. Like they weren't impactful. And this is not my hater side talking of Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think it's gonna matter, especially in that division. When you're going up against the Lamar Jacksons, you're going up against the Joe Burrows, and obviously Cleveland's not back.
We've said that line with every last quarterback that the Pittsburgh Steelers has had since Ben Roethlisberger, and we even said it with him at the twilight of his career. Until it does not happen, this man Mike Tomlin has done more with worse.
That's true. That's true. But I'm not saying they won't have a winning record. But I'll put it like this. There's a great chance that this actually gets them to the playoffs because of the kind of coach that Mike Tomlin is. But there's just as high of a chance as this being an absolute disaster.
Correct.
And I think that at this particular point, if I were the Steelers, would I chance it? Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't have nothing else to go for. And also, you don't have a draft pick that's early enough for you to fully take advantage of. So I'm not mad at that either. But I'll be doing a lot of hate watching, and that's a shame because I really like Mike Tomlin. But here's what it is. Yeah, but like Courtney said, DK Metcalf got traded for a compensatory pick, and he got $5-year, $150 million extension. Devontae Adams got 2 more moves to go over, and then we're gonna switch to basketball. And Courtney can enjoy the rest of the evening. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers' friend, is heading back to the West Coast. He signed a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Rams, worth $46 million with $26 million guaranteed. And it sounds like these are going to be the last 2 years of his career because his agent put a press release said that Devontae wanted to finish his career on the West Coast. I love this deal. I still think there's a lot of good football left with Devontae. We have seen what the Rams can do. The Rams were the only team to come close to beating the Eagles in the playoffs this past year. Matthew Stafford, I believe, is a really good quarterback. You got the evil genius and Sean McVay himself. Got Puka Nacua over there as well. They're running game, Kyron Williams. I love this move. I think it's a great move for Devontae. I think it's a great move for the Rams. Any thoughts on this before we go on to the last move, or Neil?
No, I agree. Great last move for Matt Stafford. If this is one of his, is that a 2-year deal? He's two more years left in him.
Yeah, I think both of them were like, yo, we finna do this and then we up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what it sounds like.
I think it's great for both of them.
Yep. Final move of the day. Washington Commanders, after re-signing a lot of their guys, traded for Deebo Samuel. They have added Pro Bowl, All-Pro left tackle Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders in a draft pick haul from Houston. Don't know exactly. I'm trying to look kind of what the picks were that he got. Got some other ones. Ryan Kelly from the Colts center. He signed with the Vikings. The Broncos are also interested in Cooper Kupp. Trying to see where the draft picks were for this, but it's a haul of draft picks for the
Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up.
I got it right here.
Okay.
Got it right. A second rounder. Yeah, second rounder and a fourth rounder next year, plus a third round this year. And Houston will send a fourth rounder with Laramie Tunsil. I just got one thing to say about this trade. Pray for CJ Stroud. Pray for CJ Stroud. He already had a terrible offensive line, and now the offensive line got worse. And for Washington, you got another big guy out there who can protect Jaden Daniels. Love that move they made for them. Houston, I don't understand what they're doing. I don't get it.
If you watch a lot of Texans games, you kind of just know him as Laramie false start Tunsil, because he had 19 pressures last season, but also had 19 false start penalties. So hopefully he can fix a little bit of that moving forward, because last thing that they need is to take more penalties in Washington next year.
Bang, any final thoughts on this?
No, I got to be whams real quick.
Okay, well that's awesome. Now I got to solo this show for the next couple minutes. I
just got to make a call. I just got to make a call, Scott. I just got to make a call real quick.
It's
That's
fine.
all.
I did the show for a year and a half by myself. Yeah. So that's all we got on the football side of things. Courtney, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, I ain't got nothing. And now that Bang is gone, I can just say, fuck Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. I think you don't bring that cancer into your locker room. Okay. Again, if he were more talented, then, if maybe we're talking about like Aaron Rodgers 6 years ago, maybe we're cooking. But this current iteration of Aaron Rodgers, no. That's all I got. I just had to get that off my heart. Fuck Aaron Rodgers.
You ain't finna get no argument from me. That is for sure. I like Donald Trump, but I like Aaron Rodgers, and that tells you everything you need to know. You can follow Courtney at 1-800-CALLER, bro. Courtney, are you joining us Friday or you got to work on Friday? You'll be
I will be here. I'll be here.
all right, Courtney. We will holler at you on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Beautiful. See you then. Cheers, guys.
All right, we are going to. I'm gonna hold down here while Bang does this thing and gets his Wamos Gams on. Take care of the media world. And we're gonna switch to some NBA. This past weekend we had some good games going on in the association. Biggest game of the week was obviously Saturday night's marquee primetime game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Celtics ended up winning the game by 10, 111. 2-1-1, but they were blowing this up. They're blowing the Lakers out for the majority of this game. Lakers came back, nice little comeback towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter. Got it down to, I think, about 3 points, and then Boston ran away with it when Mr. LeBron James got injured. We'll get into that in a second, but in that game, Luka, even though Luka numbers-wise, it looked like he had a great game. He had 34 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, went 11 for 22 from the field, but they guarded him very, very well. If there's only one team that really plays as well against him, it is the Boston Celtics. He struggled for a large part of that game. He also looked like he got hurt towards the end with his back. But LeBron put in 22 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. He went 11 for 23 from the field, but he left towards the end of the game with a groin injury. And LeBron is going to be out reportedly for 1 to 2 weeks at minimum. He will be reevaluated tonight, and then they're going to give an updated timeline on that. They did say that he didn't hear anything pop like he did his first year with the Lakers, which was 6 years ago at this point, which is crazy how long. Like, when you think about it, Lakers are going to be LeBron's second longest tenure team that he's been on, which is crazy. Like, he won all those championships with Miami. He was only in Miami for 4 years. So that's a good thing that he won't be out as long as that. But I personally, not to say I don't buy the 1 to 2 week timeline, I think he's going to be out longer than that. He's 40 years old. Growing injuries are tough for anybody, no matter what the age. We know how long it's sidelined him in the past. And just any other injuries he's had since being a Laker, which is really the only time in his career he's been as injured as he has been. I think it wouldn't shock me if this is a month-long injury. We'll see what the update says, but this is a brutal blow. I would say brutal blow, but it's a blow for the Lakers because they're in a part of the schedule in March that's got a lot of tough games on it. You know, they got to play Brooklyn tonight. They got to play Milwaukee on Wednesday, and they've also got to play the Denver Nuggets in Denver again. So I would expect them to go maybe 1 and 2 in these 3 games. I think they can beat Denver, and they're probably going to lose to Milwaukee and not Denver. I think they can beat Brooklyn, and they'll probably lose to Milwaukee and Denver. But this is a blow because I think that James is getting the second seed a toast with this injury. And you still got Luka trying to get 100% back in form. He hasn't done that yet. But I think, they're probably going to drop either 3 or 4. But besides that, it's not like they're in the play-in and then in jeopardy of missing the play-in playoffs altogether. They still, if everything goes right, should be starting the playoffs with their own home court advantage in Staples Center. Bang, any concerns for you with Bron's injury? Do you think it's going to be more of a 1 or 2 week thing?
It is going to be whatever time that LeBron James needs to get ready for the postseason. You know what's funny? I was going to say this last week, but ain't it about time for LeBron James to take that 1 to 2 week break?
His Balco break?
Yeah,
the Balco break. He always goes in the Balco break.
I am not going to say what kind of a break it is. All I'm saying is I was gonna say on last Friday's show, isn't it did we miss the LeBron 2 week break? Because for the last couple of years, LeBron James would be out for like a week or 2, and then we get Super LeBron. So here we are. We got Super LeBron. Luka's playing. He's getting his legs back. So I think LeBron James and the Lakers organization was like, yeah, I think Luka's at a place where I could go ahead and take this 2 week break, and then I'll be back. So that's it. Like I've been waiting for 2-week LeBron, the PTO LeBron to come. So now we're here. LeBron taking that paid time off. He's gonna do what he needs to do to get ready for the postseason, and we're gonna see Super LeBron.
I almost said the Balco break. I don't. And the Balco break usually ain't this late. Like the LeBron chart of things, they usually happen. Start off the season, they start off pretty decent. They start tripping. They always lose the Christmas game. And by the way, this is on any team he's in. It don't matter. Lakers, Cavs, Heat. This is what happens every year. They lose the Christmas game. They started going a little tough stretch heading into January. LeBron starts doing cryptic, passive-aggressive tweets, talking about how much help they don't have. They end up getting up help at the deadline. They go on a little high streak. Everybody starts talking. I wouldn't go against a motivated LeBron James in the playoffs, and then he gets hurt and he goes those little breaks. So I think this was a little later than usual to LeBron getting that Dante PTO. I think it's coming a little later than usual, but you might be right. This might be the time, and he's getting ahead of it before the playoffs starts. So yeah, I mean, I'll be slightly concerned. I'm not all the way concerned. I was a Lakers fan, but I'll be a little concerned about this. The actual game with the Lakers, man. We talk about, did the Lakers get a reality check? I think they did. I think they did get a little bit of a reality check. And this is something where I think it was about even for each team because the Celtics were playing without Kristaps Porzingis. Drew Holiday got back into the lineup after weeks with the hand injury, so he still wasn't 100% all the way there yet. And the Lakers were missing Jackson Hayes, they're missing Rui Hachimura, and then of course LeBron leaves earlier. But the reason I say they got a reality check is something that we've been saying on the show all year. I don't think nobody's beating the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. The Boston Celtics' biggest threat is the Boston Celtics, and their trick off tendencies that they have, and a trick off that they displayed in this game. They had like a 22-point lead in the second half in this game and let the Lakers cut it all the way down to 3 points. So that's their biggest enemy is their own, ability to take their foot off the gas. But outside of that, Jason Tatum is playing at a level that he's never played it before. He's excellent right now. Jaylen Brown is playing well. This team got that monkey in the back of not winning a championship. And I really feel like if you're the Lakers, I feel like just this month in general, even when Bron comes back, you're going to be reminded that a regular season game is different than a 7-game series. And I think they did come down to earth just a little bit. And they have to play almost borderline perfect basketball, I believe, to even have a chance to beat these guys. And even then, it still might not matter. You got Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, potential 6th man of the year candidate. He's hooping. You got all these guys going crazy. And the way they play as a starting five, you cannot let Al Horford have the game that he had on Saturday and think you have any chance of beating this team. So I think the Lakers will be fine, but all that talk about the Lakers winning the championship, I think we might have to pipe down on just a little bit because of what happened this past Saturday. Man, do you think the Lakers got a reality check, or this is just who they are?
This is just who they are. You still have help that's needed on that team. You still need people on that front court. And I know what's something with what JJ Redick has been doing, and he's been like, yo, let these folks shoot threes. Like, let them folks shoot threes. We come and get the rebound. We speed it up. Boom, boom, boom. Well, that just did not happen with this Boston Celtics team either. So I think it's a combination of they are who they are, but they're still talented enough to win. They're just not talented enough to defeat the Boston Celtics. And I don't know who is at this point in time. It's going to take 4 bad shooting nights in order for the Boston Celtics to lose. Not saying it's not possible. I just don't think it's going to happen in the finals against a Laker team, because I also don't think the Lakers are going to the finals.
And that's a perfect segue into a team that I do think is going to the NBA Finals, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder had a blowout win of the number 2 seeded Denver Nuggets last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had another 40-point game. He now has the second longest streak since Kobe Bryant did it in 2006 of having the most consecutive 20-point games. So shout out to him. The final score for that one. I think they had won by like I don't know how the hell my league pass calendar went to August 2012. I didn't even know that was possible of doing that. But they ended up winning yesterday, 127-103. But the question here I got is not even about the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We just saw this past Saturday. Nikola Jokic put up the first 30-20-20 game in NBA history with a win
I was
over.
shocked that was the first one of
Yeah,
that
me too.
in NBA history.
Yeah, I thought at least Wilt or somebody back in the day when it was like 4 teams would have been able to do that, because that sounded like a Wilt Chamberlain stat. They were the ones that he was the one to do it. And that leads me to, I think we've all been talking about this year, Shai's going to win MVP. I don't think this MVP race is over. I still think when the dust settles, that Shai will be the MVP. But if you look at the numbers, you look at where they are in the standings, I don't think this is a closed book whatsoever. Nikola Jokic is averaging a triple-double, 28 points per game, 12 rebounds, 12.9 rebounds, 10.5 assists off 57% shooting from the field. And he's shooting 43% from 3. And he's averaging 1.8 steals per game. He's almost averaging a whole block per game. These are ridiculous numbers. Now, I'm not a analytics type guy, but if you even look at the analytics, it looks even crazier than what we're just saying off the regular stat numbers. Now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander not having a shabby season himself, as he's averaging 32.9 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal off 52.5% shooting from the field. I do think they will give Shai because the year they've had, and the NBA is about narrative. It's about whose time it is over who's the best player. Because if it was who's the best player, Michael Jordan would have a lot more MVPs than 5. On top of that, LeBron James will have a lot more MVPs than the 4 he has right now. Nikola Jokic is coming off something right now where he is the reigning MVP. He's already won 3 MVPs. In fact, he has won 3 out of the last 4 MVPs. He's an NBA champion. He has been there before. And I also think he's a media darling. And I think because of how he treats it, they fake act like he don't care. Well, we all know he cares about the game. He just likes going back home to Serbia. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out the next couple weeks. I do think the head-to-head is going to matter, and I think Shai took a big leap with that last night with getting a double-digit blowout victory against them. They're playing against tonight in a home type joint. So he has another chance to separate himself. But at the end of the day, I don't know if the voters care that much about it. And while I do have Shai being MVP, it would not shock me if Jokic wins his 4th, or that when the voting comes out, we see it is decided by 1 or 2 votes. And do you think that this is an open-ended MVP conversation still, or do you think that nothing that Jokic can do can take this away from what Shai's doing this year?
Yeah, I think this race is over, but I think this race is over because of fatigue. I think it's over because of voter fatigue. Honestly, when I look at it, Jokic is the MVP right now. Sorry. But he's won it too many times. People like, I'm tired of voting for him, and Shai's going to get it. Not saying that Shai's not deserving, because Shai probably should have got it last season. So it's almost like, when you get that call that you shouldn't have got, and the referee be like, I'm going to look out.
Yeah.
This is the lookout. Yeah, this is
the makeup MVP.
Yeah, this is the makeup MVP. This is the
Is this
the
a hit nigga
Denzel
damn
Washington.
MVP?
No, this is not a hit nigga damn MVP.
Okay.
This is Denzel Washington winning an Oscar for Training Day. Probably shouldn't have won it this year, but Al Pacino got the one that you should have won. So we gonna make sure you look out. We gonna look out, and they looked out for this one right here. So Shai's gonna get MVP, but he's gonna get MVP because of voter fatigue. I'm just glad that he's having an MVP season himself. But he should have got it last year.
I still was on the train of he should have had 3 in a row, because Embiid was a hit nigga damn MVP. 100%.
Yeah. Embiid was a hit nigga damn MVP.
Yeah,
yes, it was.
Easily. So we'll see how this pans out these next couple weeks, man. Definitely gonna be interested to see that. So that is all we got for y'all today. All we got for y'all today on this episode. Probably one of the shorter episodes we've done lately. We'll be back on Friday. See whatever second or third wave of free agent signings go down, and we'll get y'all ready for another week of NBA basketball, weekend of NBA basketball as well. So, Ben, anything you want to say if we get up out of here?
I didn't get a chance to say it, but Tunsil to Washington is going to be huge. It is going to be huge. It's going to make that offensive line better. It's exactly what Jaden Daniels need, protection on that blind side. That is them getting Trent Williams back, basically.
Okay.
You got one of the best left tackles in the NFL, not named the former guy that you lost, and he's still young. That offensive line, I'm not saying is going to lead to them going back to the NFC East, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Houston was doing. Some organizations just make mind-boggling moves. Like, what was the reasoning here? And that one, I just don't understand, man. So that's all we got for y'all today, man. Of course, you follow me at Barber Chair Scott on all social media platforms, man. Follow the Barber's Chair at Barber's Chair Co. on all social media platforms as well. Follow our new show Instagram page at INGHY Show on Instagram. Follow our partners H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter, at H&B Media on Instagram, man. And while you at it, of course, subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network. We've got 3 different tiers on there. If you subscribe to the $10 holler, that is the Barber's Chair All Access tier, you get 25% off your first order at the Barber's Chair merchandise store. That site is bcnetshop.com. We got a new drop dropping this Friday. For y'all, look out for that as well, man. So we hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. Shout out to everybody for joining us in chat. And everybody who watched on Twitter and Instagram, wherever you watch, we appreciate everybody watching. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week, and we gonna holler at y'all on Friday, man. We up out of here.